be somewhere that the oxygen mask setup is plugged into. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So somewhere in there, that system has to be.
Yeah.
Which is where this whole thing is saying that, then it's spewing that pure O2, which is then feeding the fire.
Mm-hmm.
I don't put a whole lot of credence in this particular one. I think that it's a bit of a stretch. I think that it's very interesting, and it's really interesting because of the fact that we do know that the chemical oxygen generators caused planes to go down in the past.
They have, but yeah.
Is it a perfect fit? No, but is it a fit? Kinda. Better than Red Mercury.
Oh, yeah. I think the faulty wiring is probably the culprit in this case. And I think that Mark Young is correct in that the investigation should be reopened because it's time to put a lot of these rumors to rest because there's so many conspiracy theories. I like his theory the best simply because it ties things together so well.
Yeah.
It really does.
And he may be wrong, but he has done the best job of making a complete package out of it.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely. Everything makes sense. It makes complete sense.
Which, is compelling.
The oxygen apparatus really still doesn't quite make sense because, how did it get started? Again, we're back to that.
Yeah, we're back to that. That's the big question for a lot of us. Everything is, how did this fire start? And Young is the only one who's come up with a very plausible way for the fire to start.
Yeah, and it totally makes sense.
Yep. I do want to... that's, by the way, the end of all of our theories, but there is just one little bit I want to add at the end here. This is very simple, Devin. We're almost done. Stop Googling.
I can't.
You're Googling, right?
I am.
You're not tweeting.
Nope. Not tweeting.
The findings of this investigation did change a lot of things in the airline industry. Better fire suppression systems were introduced. They became a requirement and were introduced. And that, of course, added weight to planes, which made the Combi completely and totally obsolete. It went the way of the dodo. You either have people on board or you don't. That's the way it happens now.
Which makes most sense. I'm most comfortable with that.
Yeah. Although, it's really interesting. I just found out today is one of the major FedEx or not maybe it was UPS. I can't remember which one, Brown, whichever one it is.
UPS is the brown one.
Okay. One of those, and I don't remember which one it is, but one of those major companies that, will fly packages back and forth across the country, same day air kind of stuff. There's actually a contract with the U.S. government. All of their planes are set up to have the ability on that main deck, like a regular airplane would, that we would commercially fly, to have seats plugged into them so that they can turn into troop transports.
Yeah, but that's different.
Well, no, it's just, but this is a very interesting site.
But yeah, it is interesting that they're doing that.
But the combi went away.
But speaking of great adaptations of planes, by the way, did I ever tell you about Boeing actually came up with a concept for the 747 as a cruise missile launcher?
No,
I'm serious.
Really?
Does that really surprise you that much? Really?
Yeah. No,
it shouldn't, but it does.
They did. They had a whole system set up. They had it all worked out. I mean, it wasn't like they weren't ready to build a prototype. It was basically kind of a concept thing where they had drawings and stuff. And basically, on the starboard side, at the aft part of the plane, there was going to be a door, a port that would open to the side, and on the inside they would have cruise missiles stowed on basically a rack that was kind of like a carousel that would move around. So it was kind of it was basically automated. And then they would move back to that spot. The door would open. Obviously, this would probably usually be done at lower altitudes where they could fly depressurized.
Yeah.
And then cruise missiles would basically be ejected out the side of the plane back there, and then they would, light off and take off and
go
destroy things. And so this whole idea that you could, I don't know how many cruise missiles you could pack into a 747, but I bet it's a hell of a lot.
I bet
Yeah.
I personally don't think there's many pilots who would want to fly that plane based on the fact that it's that many cruise missiles in the plane.
Hey, what the hell, I think a lot of pilots would. But I personally, I think the U.S. government should have taken them up on it because basically it would have been a real cheap alternative to a lot of the stuff that we have.
Yeah.
And it really probably would have done the job just fine. But it's an honest-to-God true story, and if I can find the link, I'll give it to.
You'll post it.
Put it on our Facebook.
I'll put it on our Facebook so you guys can read about that little project.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about Facebook and we're at the end of the story, let's give everybody all of our linky links here. Our social media for Facebook, we have, of course, the Facebook page and the Facebook group. So like the page, join the group, bunch of activity there. We are, of course, on Twitter, so we are Thinking Sideways, so drop the G in the middle. We tweet semi-regularly.
I tweet a lot.
Yeah, Devin tweets a lot.
I tweet things I find on Imgur.
Is that what's going on with the Twitter account?
Maybe.
Okay.
No?
We have our website. That website is thinkingsidewayspodcast.com, where, of course, you can stream or download this or any other episode. The links to some of our research will be on there on the website for you to kind of review for yourself, start the process for you if you want to do it.
Also, we have a facts page there.
Oh, the FAQ?
Yeah, if you have a question about something, check there first.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're listening to our old episodes and wondering like what that weird whining noise is or why did we use music, things like that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on the FAQ page. But now, a lot of people do stream the show. There are still a bunch of people who get us through traditional sources like iTunes. If you're using iTunes, do take the time to leave a comment and a rating. We prefer the better ratings, the higher ratings.
5 stars.
If you have a concern or you have a question or you want to suggest a topic or you just want to rave about us to us directly, you can do that by sending us an email. That email address is thinkingsidewayspodcast@gmail.com. And we have a subreddit. So the subreddit is still going strong.
It is. Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
And last but not
sort of
least,
zombie-like way.
Last but not least, a couple of things that we've got on our website. We have a link to merch. So there's merchandise that you can get if you want that. There is, if you want to contribute to the show financially, you're more than welcome to, and we do appreciate that. We've got the PayPal button on our website, or we do use Patreon, so patreon.com/thinkingsideways. Patreon is more of a continual basis. Go on Patreon. We've got a video that explains it. It's totally optional, guys. Again, we say this every week, but we appreciate it. We love it, but we are doing it because we like it, and if you want to do it, we appreciate that. That's great. I think that's all the housekeeping. Do you have anything else you guys want to add to this particular episode?
No, short circuit. That's all.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, electrical.
Anymore. That's not true. I think it was conspiracy, but that's
that's
my
cool.
thing. So.
All right. Well, I'm going to take off.
Oh God.
I think it was squirrels.
Squirrels in the fuselage.
Yeah, they nibbled on the wiring. Next thing you know, things all go to hell.
We'll talk to you next week, guys.
All right, bye.
I'm so embarrassed right now.
So,
I think it's 3 o'clock.
It's like 3. Let me see what
When you are ready.
When I'm done getting this eyelash out of my head.
Yeah, it's precisely 3 o'clock, according to my phone.
Exactly.
I guess we better get rolling here.
All right.
First off, actually, before you go, sorry to interrupt. Is there anybody here from Indiana? Hey. Hi,
cool.
folks. So we're going to do an Indiana mystery.
That Joe's already told people about.
I haven't told you, though. So that's the important thing.
So we are doing this as a live taping. So we're going to do our normal intro. And you guys can make as much or as little noise as you want. You guys ready? Okay.
Thinking Sideways.
I don't get it.
Uproot the aliens.
You must unlearn what you have learned. I don't know.
Stories of things we simply don't know the answer to.
Hey there. Welcome to a very special episode of Thinking Sideways, the podcast. I am Devin, joined, as usual, by...
Steve.
And Joe.
And we're going to talk about a mystery.
And we're joined also, I should say, by a live studio audience. Guys, say hi.
It's a group of very loud five
That was
people.
That was kind of too loud. Okay, let's do that again. Guys, say hi.
Yay, whatever. It's cool.
No, thanks. That was a
here.
good round of applause. Appreciate that.
We're going to talk about a mystery. It's a local mystery. Well, it took place in Indiana, so it's local.
Brown County. Anybody here from Brown County?
Good.
Okay.
Great.
Kind of south of here
Dodge
somewhere.
a bullet there.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the case of Clarence Roberts' death. Is anybody familiar with that case? The death of Clarence Roberts?
You guys haven't heard about Clarence Roberts?
All right.
Well,
You're in for a treat.
Joe, why don't you tell them a little bit about Clarence Roberts?
Let me give you. It says Joe Shatner style. My Shatner imitation kind of sucks, so I'm just going to read it. So early in the hours of October 15th, 1970, a shed, which was being used as a garage on the Roberts property in Brown County, caught fire, and volunteer firefighters came by and tried to put it out.
They haven't lost a basement yet.
No, not yet. Not around here. But the only thing they were able to save was Clarence's pickup truck. He had a pickup truck parked in there. They wheeled that out and saved it, but didn't save Clarence, who perished in the fire, along with 2 other cars. But then the next day, after things had cooled down a little bit, they were coming through the ashes, and they found an interesting surprise, which was a burned, limbless body of a man. Apparently Clarence Roberts, and the body was laying on his back, had a 16-gauge shotgun laying across its chest. But investigators were also sifting through the ash, and they found a Masonic ring buried in the ash, not far from the body.
Completely undamaged.
Nah, not completely, but pretty much undamaged. And Clarence, of course, was a Mason. He was like a 33-degree like Grand
We forgot to
Poobah.
talk
Yeah.
to our experts about this. So.
Yeah, but it was in pretty good shape for having been through a fire. Clarence Roberts was a local businessman. He and his brother owned a small local chain of hardware feed stores called, I think, the Roberts Lumber Company. So obviously sold a little lumber too. They were pretty well to do. They had 4 children, all boys, and owned a nice house and a lot of nice luxury cars. And also Clarence had several